Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my first impressions look on the Anta KT Splash 4. And this shoe is going for, guess. I'll let you guys guess. You guys probably guess around maybe 100, 120 bucks, right? I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. This shoe's 85 freaking dollars, guys. Ridiculous. It's the same price as like the Precisions, and the Precisions the Nike give, I mean, they're good performers, but as far as the quality goes, you can definitely tell it's a cheaper shoe. You know what I mean? But this shoe, it doesn't look cheap at all. So that's absolutely insane, and that's what Anta's been doing. They give us the Shock the Game 6.0, which has full-length nitro. It's like, okay, just imagine this. Nike giving us a carbon fiber midfoot chain. I'm talking about the Shock the Game, but I'm talking about also Anta in general. So Nike giving us a carbon fiber midfoot chain plate with full length React in a $100 shoe, we'd be like, what is going on, right? So yeah, Anta's been giving us really good quality shoes as far as like the overall build quality and material choice, and also really good performers for an amazing price. So shout out to Anta for that. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get started off with the Tracciones, and we have a solid white rubber outsole. And here in the heel, I guess it's more like, what is this color? Got yellow-orange color. It kind of reminds me of like a, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a duck bill beak thing? But anyways, the traction is pretty interesting, right? So it kind of reminds me of like pods. There's like some pods here in the forefoot, and also where your big toe is, and then kind of like, there's like lines that go around it, kind of like the flow of water, which has been the theme of like Klay Thompson's signature shoe line. But yeah, holy crap, guys, this shoe is so damn loud. I don't know what they're doing with the rubber compound, but it's an extremely loud and high-pitched squeak, which of course I do like. It doesn't mean the traction is going to be good just because there are shoes that have a loud squeak that have bad traction, but it's just, in my personal opinion, I like to have a shoe that's squeaky, you know what I mean? But also trying it on my wood floors, the bite seems really good, so I'm very excited about that. And also yeah, the rubber is super hard, the grooves are really thick as well, so outdoor use is probably going to be very good too. So the outsole here in the KT Splash 4 is looking really good. Also, as far as like midfoot chain plate goes, we do have a dual purpose midfoot chain plate, right? It's kind of like an eclipse plate. You can see through it, which is pretty cool. Also, the strap goes through it, which we'll get into in materials. But yeah, that also acts as a midfoot chain plate. But yeah, as far as the overall heel to toe transition goes, it feels very smooth. Nice rounded shape, although I guess the rubber outsole does come up to cage the midsole here in the heel a little bit. There's still a nice little compression from it. And then here in the forefoot, a nice curved shape and a good amount of forefoot flex, but torsional support seems good because of this. It's not an eclipse plate, but that's just what I'm gonna call it, right? So yeah, that feels overall super smooth right now. And moving on to the cushioning setup. So we have, as far as the midsole goes, we have a flash edge foam, right? It says here in the heel, and it's pretty much this like light blue color foam, and it's not really caged at all, I guess, besides on the lateral side here in the heel just a tiny bit, but that definitely does make sense. You want to cage the cushion here, like you don't want it to be unstable. Like if this was too soft, it would feel a little unstable here in the heel, so that definitely does make sense. But also, if you look at the bottom of the shoe, right, as you guys can see this little cutout, they are also using N2 foam or nitro edge foam, the foam that they're using in like their premium shoe line, the KT7. So yeah, I'm guessing it's just in the forefoot. As far as the tech specs go, on Famuji, it doesn't really give us any type of tech specs. It just says the foams that they're using. It's not saying like where it is. So I'm guessing it's targeted here in the forefoot though, because that's where it is, and we can see like a little pod there. And also, if you remove the insole, you can see like there are holes, right? And where the hole is here in the heel, you can't really see the N2 foam, but in the forefoot you can see it, right? Speaking of the insole was pretty nice, but the strobo board is really stiff. So step-in comfort doesn't feel the nicest, and I can't really feel the N2 foam too much here in the forefoot. although it does look like it is top loaded, right? So hopefully the strobe board gets a little bit softer once I plane it and break it in, but step and comfort isn't the best. But as far as the overall compression goes from the midsole, it feels pretty nice, especially here in the heel. It feels nice and soft overall. And core feel seems good here in the forefoot. The heel gets a little bit higher, just like in the KT7s. So there is a pretty high offset, it feels like right now. But the cushioning setup overall does feel pretty nice. I wish the strobe board was a little bit softer. Like for example, in the Shock the Game 6.0, I'm like pointing over there because that's where the shoe is, and I just filmed the Shock the Game 6.0 first impressions video. But in that shoe, the strobe board they're using like a foam strobe board, which is super soft. Also, another strobe board that I really freaking like is the WoW 10 strobe board. It's like a mesh material that they're using, but like it's not glued down at all. It's so damn soft. And I've been playing in the WoW 10 a good amount, and the cushion is so nice, especially for step and comfort. Sneak peek, by the way. But yeah, I wish they would have done that here in the KT Splash 4, but they didn't. It's not a huge deal. It's super cheap, 85 bucks, but there's the cushioning setup there. Moving on to the materials. So we have like a kind of like a foam back mesh, and you guys can see there's little cutouts, like little curved lines here in the forefoot. But I don't really like the material that much. I mean, overall, it's like really thin, right? But it feels pretty damn stiff right now. But honestly, I feel like it'll break in, so I'm probably like complaining about the material being stiff for nothing, but that's just how it feels right now for the first impressions. Also, we have a little bit of fuse here on the medial side. I wish they would have put it more like here in the middle, but anyways, there's that. But also for the strap is a really cool design, right? So first of all, this strap is made out of like this really thin mesh material, which I like. It doesn't feel bulky or cumbersome at all, especially comparing it to like the Zoom Freak 3 and also like the Kyrie, what was it, 6, right? With the really thick plastic straps. I didn't really like that, but also I like this, what they're doing here, right? Also, the strap is connected to the laces, right? The laces go through it. I mean, I wish it only went through the like laces. There are some eyelets that go underneath the laces as well. It kind of reminds me of the Flow Future X from Under Armour. It's pretty much the same exact design, but it actually goes through this Eclipse plate, comes around the other side, and then you tighten it, right? It does improve lockdown just a tiny bit though, not a whole lot. You know, I tried really cranking it down, and it didn't really feel like there was that much more lockdown as opposed to me just really tightening up the laces. But I do like the overall like thought of the strap. It's pretty cool, and I feel like every single KT Splash, if I remember correctly, had a strap. So there's that. As far as the tongue goes, there is a nice little padding in the tongue. I would say around an average amount of padding, right? And then here in the ankle area, again, pretty minimal padding as well. So this material, like, it overall feels really supportive and minimal and thin, but like not super soft yet. You know, I'm saying yet because I think it'll break in and get softer, but hopefully it does. But yeah, for the quality though, the quality of the material doesn't feel the best, right? Especially with this material, it feels like kind of cheap, a little flimsy as well. But like I said, it's 85 bucks, so you can't really complain. But overall, it feels pretty nice on foot. Moving on to the fit. Yeah, holy crap, guys. I don't know why they made it so narrow, but they did. Like, just look at the toe box. You see how freaking narrow it is here, like at the tip of the toe? Like, no one's foot is like this. So yeah, it's definitely a really narrow fit. And also here in the toe box, it's pretty damn snug. I went true to size, and lengthwise I was good to go. So yeah, overall I do like the fit, but it might even be a little too tight for me, just because, you know, I like to have a really snug fit, especially my ball shoes, just because I like to feel like contained and locked down into the shoe. And if it's a little roomy, I don't like to like have my foot move inside of the shoe at all. So that's why I like snug fits, but it's feeling a little too snug. So hopefully, you know, I don't get needles when I play in it. You know, of course I just walked around it, I didn't play in it yet, so we'll have to see on that. So if you have a normal size foot, like a regular size foot, I would probably suggest going up half a size. If you have a really skinny foot and you want a really snug fit, true to size, you should be fine. If you have a wide foot, probably go like up a full size. That's just how narrow and snug this shoe is. So there's that. Moving on to the support and lockdown, I feel like it's gonna be good, right? So here in the forefoot, we have the foam acting as a sidewall. We have the strap, and also we have this like Eclipse plate coming up a little bit, acting as a sidewall as well. kind of like a heel counter, but there also is an internal TPU heel counter. Also, this material feels really supportive, right? There's absolutely zero stretch to it. So lateral containment, I feel like it's gonna be good. Lateral stability, also we do have an outrigger, so we have a very wide base, which of course is really good for stability. So yeah, I feel like support and lockdown is gonna be good in this shoe. All right, moving on to the weight, it feels pretty okay. I'm guessing like, okay, so 12.1 ounces. Let's check the other pair. 12.2 ounces. So yeah, that is a little bit lighter than average. It feels pretty light and minimal, but also like kind of stiff. You know, this material is like overall pretty stiff feeling. So yeah, hopefully it gets a little bit softer like I keep saying, but it feels overall pretty nice and like a really supportive shoe, which is a good thing if you want a lot of support and like a minimal upper, which this shoe feels like it has a minimal upper right now. So anyways, there's that. Moving on to the aesthetics, I like it. I love how the Eclipse plate looks. I wish it was a little bit bigger as far as the opening goes, but the overall design looks pretty good. But like I'm not a huge fan of the material, like how it looks. It looks super cheap. I mean, it is a cheap shoe, so that makes sense, but aesthetics, I feel like it looks pretty good. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, has Anta done it again? Have they given us an $85 shoe that has insane performance, also with pretty good quality material, or not materials, but like tech, you know, like the foam feels, I mean, the foam, they're using really high quality foam. I mean, if it was Nike, they would have just given us Phylon, you know what I mean? So yeah, my first impressions are really good. It's looking really nice. The traction feels like it's top tier right now. Of course, we're gonna need to see on dust and all that. Cushion feels pretty damn nice. I wish the step-in comfort was a little bit better, but hopefully it breaks in. And the materials feel a little stiff, but I feel, like I said, I feel like it's gonna get a little bit softer. So my first impressions of this $85 shoe is looking really good, and I'm pretty damn excited to try it out. But that about wraps it up for my first impressions. Again, if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.